Hello students, welcome to micro learning today class. So in this video we are going to learn about memory and RAM. So two important parts inside the every computer as we know. Okay, so we all know that a computer can store and process lot of informations. But have you ever thought where does the computer actually keep all this data? Yeah, that's where memory comes in. Okay, so memory is just like the brain of the computer. So it stores the data, instructions and a result so that the computer can work properly. Then there are the two main types of memory. So mainly two types of memory in a computer. So first one is primary memory. So primary memory, this is the main memory. So which is used directly by the CPU. And then secondary memory. So secondary memory, this is the permanent storage like a hard disk or pen drive like that. It is used for long-term storage. So let's understand more clearly. So first one is the primary memory. Those primary memories included RAM and ROM mainly. So RAM is nothing but random access memory and ROM abbreviations read only memory. So ROM read only memory. So first one ROM. So ROM only stored for permanent informations. So for example, the startup instruction when you switch on the computer, we have to use this type of memory. And then the RAM or random access memory is where all the active work happen when the computer is running. So that is called as RAM memory. So now let's focus on RAM. So RAM stand for the random access memory. So it is called random access. Why? Because the CPU can directly reach any location in RAM quickly. So without reading everything in order. So that's why we have to call RAM. Okay, random access memory. So RAM is a temporary or volatile memory. So that means the moment you turn off the computer, all the data in RAM is erased. And you can imagine, okay, I have to tell example. You can imagine RAM is like your study table. So when you study, you keep the books you need right now on the table. So when you finish, you clear the table. Similarly, same the concept like that RAM. So RAM holds only the data and the programs that are currently being used. So why RAM is so important? Because RAM is very important because it helps your computer run fast. So when you open an application like a Word, a browser or a game, it's get copied from the hard disk into RAM. So the CPU then takes the data from RAM because it much faster than reading from a hard disk. So that's why if you have more RAM, your computer can open and run more programs smoothly. Suppose, suppose, if your RAM, okay, suppose if your RAM Suppose if your RAM is small, the computer becomes very slow. So because it keeps the shifting data between RAM and the hard disk. So let's summarize what we learned today. Okay, memory is the storage space for the computer. It is divided into primary and secondary memory. So RAM is the part of primary memory and it's a temporary. So when the power goes off, data in RAM is lost. So more RAM means better performance and faster processing. Okay, so things of already I told no, things of a RAM as your work table and the hard disk as your cupboard. So you work on the table for now, but store your things permanently in the cupboard. Okay, va? So that's all for the today classes, students. I hope you now clearly understand the what is memory and then RAM are. So and how they help your computer network efficiently. So thank you for watching. See you in the next session.